أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Welcome. Just a quick note before we begin. As with all productions using AI assistance, please excuse any minor visual or audio errors. In verses 35 through 37, Sūrat al-Ḥāqqah describes the condemned soul on the Day of Judgment as possessing no hamim, no devoted friend. The connections built in life on wealth or social standing vanish. The soul discovers that these transactional connections were a shadow, leaving it utterly alone in a state of degradation. The surah does not close with this image of ruin. It performs a sudden structural pivot. Instead of looking further into the events of the afterlife, the text turns outward to address the physical reality of the Qur'an itself. Why this shift? In the middle of describing the cosmic end of all things, why does the revelation stop to talk about its own nature? It suggests that our preparation for the next world begins with how we approach this one. Approaching this book with proper adab, the spiritual etiquette of recognition, is the first step in facing the reality it describes. The surah begins its defense by identifying what the Qur'an is not. It is not poetry, a human craft of aesthetic arrangement. Nor is it soothsaying, the mystical pretense of hidden knowledge. It identifies itself as the word of an honored messenger, a revelation from the Lord of all worlds. Verses 44 through 46 state if the prophet fabricated a saying, God would sever his jugular vein, an immediate consequence. Ibn Kathir noted the prophet's survival proves his truthfulness. A liar lacks divine protection. His flourishing is physical evidence of his mandate. This zahir, or outer reality, provides the historical and logical foundation. The physical protection of the messenger is the sign the mind needs before the heart can begin to process the inner meaning. Once the mind accepts the historical integrity of the text, we ask how these words move from the page to the seeker's inner life. Sahl al-Tustari suggested that the Qur'an acts as a tadkira, a reminder. It does not feel like foreign information to the sincere heart because it speaks to an awareness, a zik, that is already part of our deepest nature. This diagram compares how different forms of speech engage the brain. While poetry activates regions associated with aesthetic processing, research by neuroscientists like Andrew Newberg shows that religious or prophetic utterance engages distinct networks associated with social cognition and moral reasoning. These two forms of speech utilize different biological pathways. This internal recognition is what Rumi called a mirror. When standing before the Qur'an without the masks of the ego, the certainty you feel is the reflection of the divine within your own soul. The Qur'an bypasses simple data gathering. It awakens a biological and spiritual certainty that was woven into human consciousness at the moment of creation. For those who recognize this but choose to deny it, the result is hasra, a profound regret. Leon Festinger's research on cognitive dissonance suggests that the brain experiences a specific type of distress when we consciously reject something we know to be true. This regret is not just an emotion, it is a measurable cognitive state. The sincere seeker moves in the opposite direction, toward haqqal al-yaqeen, the absolute truth of certainty. This is the state where the reality of God is no longer a belief, but a lived experience that leaves no room for doubt. Verse 52 provides the final instruction, so glorify your Lord, the Mighty. Ibn Arabi taught that tasbih, or glorification, is the only logical response for a soul that has witnessed this certainty. Once you know the truth, you bow. To experience this tadkira for yourself, try this. For the next 7 days, hold one short phrase from the Qur'an in your awareness. Repeat it silently during your day and notice what it calls to mind. Observe how the heart recognizes it. O you whose word is truth and certainty, let me hear it as a reminder. Protect me from the refusal that brings regret. When I am offered the real, give me the courage to receive it. Teach me to glorify you through the direct knowledge of your truth. Amen. I'm Mir Ali Shah. Thank you for walking this path with us. By engaging the heart, the Qur'an becomes the ascending path al-Ḥāqqah describes. We'll see you in the next episode.